The Gulf Coast Business Council and state legislators gathering Friday to discuss issues that impact South Mississippi.
Joining us now is Gulf Coast Business Council President and CEO Jamie Miller. Jamie, thanks for coming in, and it's always a pleasure. You guys do your meetings once a month. Those are great for us for story ideas, but also talking about what's happening. I guess one of the big topics right now, the start of the legislative session, the state income tax talk, all that I'm sure is high on the list.
It is. Session opened up on Tuesday the 7th, and in the first week we had major legislation being proposed by the House of Representatives, which was passed this week. So that was a topic of mind at our meeting, and we'll be moving through the session.
So if the proposal moves through the Senate and this actually comes to reality, elimination of the income tax in a few years, what would that mean for potential developments and businesses coming into the Gulf Coast?
You know, we've talked about the elimination of income tax as it relates to economic development, attracting companies, attracting talent. And if you ask economic development professionals, they'll say, we certainly would want it. I mean, it's not something we would turn down, but it's really just one element of a real portfolio of things that you need to attract companies. The House version of this does a full elimination over 10 years. It's really comprehensive tax reform. It also deals with sales tax, changes the diversion from the lottery proceeds, eliminates or reduces the sales tax on groceries to 2.5%. So I mean, it really is a lot of moving parts in the House bill.
One thing you guys talk about a lot with whatever guest you have, and especially with this, talking about not only bringing in businesses, but retention of our best and brightest. And that's something the council's really worked on, especially in the last couple of years. Kind of talk about that.
Yeah, the coast has seen an inward migration. I mean, you know, as a state, we worry about brain drain. I think if you look around the universities and the coast, we've seen generally a trend toward increasing population, and that has to do with the coast being a place that people want to live and work and visit. Incredible companies that operate here and new companies coming. So I mean, the coast has situated itself really well to continue to grow.
And we will see an opportunity to attract people to move in to the area with the construction of the new cyber center being built in Biloxi. Broke ground on that just a few weeks ago. What do you anticipate, and how big of a development is that for the coast? You
know, the cyber center, we started talking about that, it's probably been 3 or 4, maybe 5 years ago, and as it's worked its way through funding through the legislature, you know, we had a signing ceremony here recently. The Air Force and our state, Mississippi State University, it's not just the center itself, but it's the private sector investments that we believe it will attract, the large technology companies that will also want to be suited there, right there at Keesler next to the cyber center. In my estimation, I mean, if you've watched what's happening in the technology and AI and cybersecurity, if you're not on the leading edge of that in your community, then you're going to be quickly left behind. So very happy to see what our legislature and our state's done in that regard.
Absolutely. And you guys, monthly meetings, different speakers from different realms in the business world. And one of the things, kind of playing off, we talked about the retention. Also, there's a lot of networking that goes on, and that can lead to other things, that can lead to things like the Cyber Center down the road. And that's really what the council's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, the council is unique in the sense that we think it's the premier business organization. It's a regional organization, and it's made up of the CEOs of the larger companies along the coast. And we have, of course, our partners with the university and other nonprofits, elected officials. But we are a public policy organization. We are focused directly on those policies that relate to our economy, our workforce, in Jackson and in Washington, D.C.
We talked about the tax reform. Is there any other issues in the legislature that really stand out to you that could impact the coast?
Well, I think from a tourism standpoint, we've got an issue with short-term rentals, the way that tax diversion is going to our marketing firms like regional tourism. They have kind of found a loophole that we'd like to correct in this session. We'll continue to watch the discussion on income tax elimination and some of the other tax structures in the state.
Okay, well,
excellent.
Yeah, you got one more quick thing, Bill.
Yeah, what's coming up next month with you guys?
So February, we're going to host the state's lead economic developer, Bill Court, will be in town. We'll also have some announcements with the USM and our master's class. So we'll have some announcements and also a solid economic development leader to speak.
Looking forward to it. All right, Jamie Miller with Gulf Coast Business Council, always good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Well.